If you've ever tried to draw before, you'll know that it's really damn hard. Sometimes it feels like you're slamming your head against the wall and making no progress. Not to mention that if you want to learn how to improve these days, there are so many videos out there about art and drawing, it's hard to know where to start. So for your viewing pleasure, I've compiled together the 5 best tips I have discovered into one quick video. Tip number 1. Draw what you love. This is good for when you don't know what to draw. Think of something you love. First thing that comes to mind. Google an image of it and draw it. This is a pretty easy thing to do, unless you decide to Google the Sistine Chapel or something. It doesn't take too much time, but of course you can put as much effort into this as you want to. Also a reminder not to focus too much on making the best drawing here. This is just a way to help yourself start drawing and get past any creative blocks. Tip number 2. So you just spent all this time working on this amazing piece of art. It's going to be the best thing you've ever created. But something's not right, and you can't quite tell what it is. Try holding it up to a mirror. Or even if the drawing is perfect, still try this. I don't know what it is, but it's like looking at it with a fresh set of eyes. Perspective and symmetry mishaps will stick out like a sore thumb. You can then study the piece in the mirror and take the info you learn from that and fix any issues back in the non-mirrored world. Tip number 3. Practice the basics. This is kind of like a bunch of tips in one. Practicing the basics and eventually mastering them is what will make you an amazing artist. This is something you can see a lot of progress from quickly if you do it a lot. But you might be asking yourself, what are these basics everyone always talks about? You fool! How will you ever become a master artist if you don't just know what the basics are? A true artist is born knowing the basics. Nah, I'm just kidding. The basics is a pretty broad term, but here are the main ones I've heard the most and feel will help people progress. Number 1. Perspective. This is huge. It is what the world on the piece of paper you are drawing is based in. If it doesn't somewhat resemble our own plane of existence, then it will become less believable and hard for the mind to understand. The best way to practice this is to just draw cubes without a ruler. Then you should draw other 3D shapes. Stack the shapes to create depth. A good one is to draw a cube from one angle and keep drawing it, but slightly rotate it each time. As well as learning how to do 1 and 2 point perspective and what vanishing points are. I won't go into that in this video, but do a quick Google search if you don't know what they are, as they're fairly simple to understand. The next basic is figure drawing. This is a great warm-up and can be a very meditative experience. You can use any photo of a person or even out in real life. If you're having trouble finding a reference, I've linked below 2 websites that I frequently use. Give yourself 30 to 45 seconds to draw each pose, and you'll immediately realize how slow you draw, because I sure did. Figure drawing teaches you to be more confident in your lines, improves your ability to see and understand something, and how to turn off your brain. I know it's crazy, but try doing a figure drawing with this mindset, and you'll see how freeing it is. Figure drawing will also help you understand the human body, which if you want to draw your own characters, is something you'll need to know. Another one of the basics is shading. Like all of these tips, this is something that you can spend hours upon hours researching and learning about, if you want to. But if you don't want to do that, then I recommend drawing the things around you with a pencil and paying close attention to how light falls on the object and how to recreate that on paper.
Tip number 4, analyze your work.
People say the best way to get better at drawing is to draw every day. And while that is true, it is possible to draw every day and see little to no progress. Trust me, I know. And it is incredibly frustrating. So to remedy this, you need to not just draw every day, but also look into your drawings and see what mistakes you made. Try talking to yourself and explain what looks bad, why does it look this way, and how to improve it. Also regularly go back and look at all your old drawings. It can help remind yourself of what you can do really well and other things you might need to work on. It's also a fun trip down memory lane, and you can surprise yourself with how much you might have improved without realizing. Tip number 5. Draw what you really see, not what you think you see, but also draw what you know. It's easy to get carried away while drawing and make a line that you kind of looked at your subject for, but you didn't put much thought into it. This is where you need to slow down your drawing, analyze the subject, and visualize what that shape would look like on the paper. But now, what if you don't have a subject to draw from, and it's something from your imagination? How do you draw what you can't technically see? This is where you have to draw what you know. Take previous experiences in life or previous drawings and use that as your reference. For example, you might draw a fan in a room from a reference. And sometime later you want to draw an airplane from your imagination. You can take what you learned from that drawing and be able to draw a propeller, or at least have a better idea how to. It's kind of like this big web of shapes and how objects can be connected by the same shapes. So if you know how to draw one thing, you might surprise yourself as to what else you can draw using that information. I hope I did well to explain this, as it can be a little confusing, but if you'd like to hear someone talk about this who actually knows what they're doing, I'll have a link in the description to a video of Jung talking about this. So that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and learned a thing or two. If you did, it would mean a lot if you could give this video a like so others may find it. And consider subscribing if you want to see my future videos, as I post about once a month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.